Pit Stop with Don and James. I'm Don.
I'm James. What's going on?
Just keeping it real over the winter, man. I'm sporting my Circuit of the Americas gear today because I'm about to head to Austin. Not for any racing purposes, it's for work, but just feeling in the Austin spirit today. How about yourself, man?
Yeah, of course, rocking the Williams here on this nice, sunny Arizona day out here. Of course, preseason testing is officially over. We got 2 weeks now until Australia, and it's just waiting. That's it, just waiting.
Yep, waiting and a lot of overanalyzing what happened during testing. I think we'll probably see lots of articles, lots of social media out there, people trying to figure out who was sandbagging, who was posting up some real times, and a lot of rumors that go on during this time. Also, Drive to Survive season comes out, I think, on Friday later this week. So
Nice, very good. I'm excited.
yeah.
I might actually go back and watch this season.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a fun way to recap some of the main points from the season and whatnot. They do over dramatize things, and it's I think only gotten more so as that show has gone on. But it's a good show. It gives you a reason to care about some of the different drivers, some of the different teams, and the team principals and things like that. So we'll definitely be watching. It's what really catapulted me into this sport, and my wife, who's been getting more and more into it. So yeah, I'd say go ahead and watch it, man.
Well, thanks for your permission. I'll definitely
Yeah.
do that one. Well, cool, man. So maybe just to start off, the slightly off topic, but uh, as you know, I live down here at Phoenix, right next to the raceway, and I went to the IndyCar. Uh, I guess their version of preseason testing, and it was awesome. What an awesome day, man! Totally free. Didn't have to pay for parking. Didn't have to pay for tickets, and it was just so nice to hear really loud engines cruising around.
Yeah.
It's really getting me hyped. Like, quite honestly, like I thought Daytona was going to be the thing that got me hyped, and then IndyCar came out here and did testing, and I am just so stoked for everything that is coming. It was a really good day. A lot of fast laps, no incidents, thank goodness. Definitely don't want an incident on an oval track, and that would be a catastrophe. But it was awesome, man. Super awesome. And we're going to the race in less than a month, so I'm pretty stoked about that one as well.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, IndyCar. I've been sort of like uh, off and on popping in, not as huge of a fan as you are. But I do love that accessibility. I haven't availed myself of it. I haven't gone to the races, but you guys have told me about it, and a couple other buddies, Patrick, who's been on this podcast a couple of times. I hear about it. And I'm like, man, that sounds really cool. I mean, that's just walking in and watching them go around the track for free. That's sick, man.
Yeah, man, it was a really good time. And of course, their first race is already this upcoming weekend, March 1st. Streets of St. Pete, which is can be a very interesting race to watch if I'm being perfectly honest. I don't know if you've seen them there, but it's a pretty stinking narrow track, and it's had its fair share of interesting accidents and overtakes. So uh, it's going to be a good one. Of course, Mick Schumacher is driving. I got to see him out here at Phoenix running around. Super cool. Um, not a lot of sponsors on the car, sadly, as of yet. So I hope he is able to find sponsorship and be able to run the full season. That would be obviously ideal for him. But I'm glad he's got a seat, and who knows if he stays in any car, maybe get a chance to go see him out at Long Beach and get an autograph or something. That'd be pretty rad.
That would be. What team is he racing for?
Oh man, I can't believe you're going to test my knowledge like that. I want to say Meyer Shank, Ed Carpenter. I'm here. I'm gonna look it up, so I don't seem like I don't know what I'm talking about here, even
I
though I
I know
really
I've read
don't.
it before, but I honestly it escaped me too. So
Here we go. Let's go down. Oh, and Roman Grosjean is back. I want to point out Roman Grosjean. I had the pleasure of running into him last year at Long Beach, and super nice guy, man. Uh, oh, he's running for Rahal,
Oh, okay.
RRL, or RLL. I apologize, Rahal Letterman Lanigan. So it'd
He's
be a good
David
one.
Letterman's employee.
Yeah, and it should be a good one, man. He was he wasn't the slowest guy out there. He had a fairly good running. I think this is probably going to be his first oval experience this past weekend. Um, Obviously, he's no slouch when it comes to actually driving. So I do predict that the ovals will be a little bit difficult for him, but I think he should fare pretty well on all the other circuits.
The oval track, if I remember right, like Grosjean didn't even want to do the oval tracks when he first came back after his crash um, and exit from F1 and joined up with Indian. I don't know. Because you're pushing it so hard. I guess maybe he was just like, I don't feel comfortable doing this, and so yeah, good for Mick getting out there and trying it out. His reputation, of course, in Formula One was doing too much damage to the car and crashing. So I hope that he shakes that in Indy and can have some success there. That'll be fun to watch.
I'm excited. I'm excited for it all. I love IndyCar. I've always loved it. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about Formula One. Preseason testing week 2 just finished up. There's 2 weeks till the Australian Grand Prix, and a few things to talk about. I think I want to start off with the upside down wing of Ferrari. Weird.
Yeah, it was all the talk for at least a couple of days. They tested a couple different kinds of wings out, and the one that definitely got the most, I don't know, talk about it, the rumors and everything, was that wing that fully rotated upside down. And it, I mean, I don't know. I guess I didn't hear a lot of analysis about it. It was just people talking about how cool it looked. But what did you think? Did you read anything that explained what it was supposed to
I
do or why
haven't
it was so
read
innovative?
anything from it. Um, Obviously, people are trying out different ways to move the wings, right? You know, you saw some teams where they had the hinge at the top of the wing, or somewhere in the middle, or somewhere at the bottom. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was Alpine that was focusing on the bottom hinge. And then Ferrari just went and turned it upside down for whatever reason. So it's more like an airplane wing, right? So you're creating lift. So the only thing that I could think of course, not being a physicist of any kind or engineer of any kind, is that since you're creating lift, you're probably going to reduce the drag on the car, you know, being it pushed into the ground, and you're probably going to be able to prolong your tires probably just a little bit because you're not creating so much friction. But other than that, I'm sure they have data as whether or not it actually helped them
Yeah,
reach top speeds or anything like that. It's going to be hard to say. I don't really know because they didn't reverse the front wings, so the front wings are still pushing into the ground, right? I don't know what they were hoping to achieve. I don't know what they're doing.
yeah,
It's obviously a very first. It's a first for Formula One. No one else has ever done that, so might as well try something, whether it works
yeah,
or not, right?
yeah. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I don't know what to make of the arrow of it or why it was so special. But they had a couple of things I think that caught people's attention, and we're getting some kudos for their innovation. The Ferrari which was good because I feel like that's been a piece that was lacking. I think there was also a thing about their exhaust that people were really talking about. There was sort of a steam or something coming off of the back of their car where the exhaust was, which actually, at least on the broadcast that I was watching, they were speculating that this allowed them to get a better picture, a visual of how the air was coming off of the back of the car because the steam is interacting with the air, right? So they were able to see where that flow was coming. I, Maybe they were blowing that out of proportion. I don't know, but that was definitely a thing I heard him talking about and thought that, oh, that might be kind of cool. So yeah, Ferrari. and innovation, I think that is two words we want to hear together because they've been sort of stuck in a rut the last few years, somewhere in one of the top running teams, but not quite able to crack into championship contention. So I was excited about that, and there was a day. Now I'm sort of doubting myself, but either at the shakedown or in the testing that Lewis Hamilton was running fast, like the fastest, and I think Charles Leclerc was near the top one of the days as well as far as times. So maybe Ferrari's finding something. They at least gave us something to talk about during the
Yeah,
testing.
man. Of course, you being a Lewis Hamilton fan, I think he fared pretty okay, right? I think he was in the top
Mhm.
10 for overall fastest lap. But Charles Leclerc set the fastest lap. Now, does it actually mean anything? I don't know, man. It's interesting because I was reading kind of some of the articles that are on the official F1 website, and it says there was a section that said like, oh, teams that have the most work to do, and it was Aston Martin, Williams, and Cadillac. Now, of course, I think Williams are just sandbagging and they're not ready to show their hand, so they're not giving it all. But obviously, man, Aston Martin, they have had just a horrible time testing. Of course, Honda is doing their power units, and I think actually doing the batteries as well. But there was the moment where uh, the car just died and Lance Stroll spun out, right? Just from the whole car shutting down. And then I think it also happened to Fernando Alonso, where his car just shut down. Like you heard this horribly loud sort of sputtering, and then he just had to pull over, and that was it. I think they only managed a little over like 100 laps or something like that. It was not a lot.
Yeah, they had the Aston had the fewest laps of anybody, 128 laps, barely any
128,
really,
that's
to
what
be
it is.
honest.
Yeah.
And they're running this Honda engine. They're now the only team on a Honda engine because Red Bull has partnered with Ford to make their
Right.
own engines, and uh, they found an electrical issue with the Honda engine. So that's not good at all. One of the things that I've seen in the discussion from the drivers and in the media a lot is that the new regulations cars are heavily dependent on their electrical engine. So it, they were they were really I heard several people saying, including I think Max Verstappen came out and said this, that the focus is going to be all about deployment of that electrical and how you're harvesting your energy and keeping your battery charged and when to use it. That's really going to be the huge focus of these cars. It won't be about trying to use DRS or any of that kind of stuff to catch people. It's all going to be about deployment of the battery, which is interesting because it affects the way that they take corners because they've got energy recapture going on through braking and a you know probably on the lift and coast and kind of stuff like that. So yeah, real interesting. Will be a really interesting shift, I think, uh, in how they strategize this year.
Man, just how screwed are we for this season as a spectator? I feel because I wasn't it Charles Leclerc that came out and said like, oh, like it's just gonna be really hard to pass people with how the cars are operating, and I think it was Lando Norris that gave him like a nice like thumbs up. Like so, obviously they're all thinking about it, they're all talking about it. I saw an article where they were in talks with the FIA to like sort of loosen the restrictions essentially so they can actually race properly. I don't know what we are in store for. I think everybody has seen the the video going around online. I think it was of Hulkenberg where he's on a cool down lap. He comes out of the last corner and then like halfway down the straight, his battery is gone, and then the power immediately drops because he's just running on engine. And then there's also the other one. I think it was one of the Red Bulls trying to do an overtake, and he deploys his battery. He gets close, kind of side by side, runs out of battery, falls back behind the car, and then just has to like late lunge. Like I think for the regulations they have swung too far in one direction. with the hybrid systems, right? Because now they're making it not, it doesn't seem like they're really 50-50. It seems like the battery is taking more of a precedent over the internal combustion, which I, as a longtime fan of F1, not really a fan of. I wasn't really a fan going to the hybrid system, especially when you can't even operate it. Like, say, for the World Endurance cars or the IMSA cars, right? They run hybrid systems, but they can also restart their cars using the systems, right? I don't know if you've had a chance to watch like one of the long endurance races like Daytona um, or Le Mans, but like every once in a while the cars will have like electrical issues. They'll pull over, they'll do like a full system reset on the car, just the driver, and then just restart the car and then just get back going. But you can't do that in an F1 car. So what really is the point of the hybrid system if you can't utilize it to that kind of potential, right? I would like to see F1 adopt something closer to that, so that way, because whenever cars go off, it's just get them back in the race, man. It's so freaking silly. Just let them get back on. And then, but also, you need to go back to just having small format cars, big engines, and have maybe like a mild hybrid system. I think that would be ideal to bring the sport back to what it was, because I think that's what people have the nostalgia for, and that's what they really want.
Yeah, there's nothing like the growl of a big internal combustion engine, right? Like the sound is definitely awesome. The power is great. Uh, electric engines get good torque and horsepower. They just they don't sound as cool. But I will say that
No.
I do respect and admire that F1 is trying to be uh, environmentally conscious. That I think that the hybrid system that had a lot to do with it is an attempt to not just sit there and burn fossil fuels to go around a circuit, and they have committed to being um, carbon neutral. I think by 2030 or something like that. And of course, this is really a European sport, and I think that environmentalism is a little bit more universally accepted, if you will, in Europe than it is in the United States. And so I think that maybe there's something there going on with that. But you can watch the fully electric sport on Formula E, and it's not
Yeah,
the same. There's no doubt
it's not
about
the
it.
same.
It's not the same. The cars don't sound the same. They don't move the same. They don't. It still can be exciting, but it's a different kind of beast. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I do like that they're trying to do something to make it a little more environmentally conscious, but I can't argue with the fact that there's something cool about those old engines, especially those V10s and stuff like that were just
Right.
really powerful IC E's. So um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Can't
Yeah, well,
solve
I
that one.
think Max Verstappen said it best. He's like, with having more battery, well, there's already a series for that. That's Formula E,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And now Formula One's kind of taken a step to be more like them. I'm not really sure what the end game is for that. I get like it's all under the guise of, being carbon neutral and whatnot, but at what cost? At what cost?
Yeah, well,
um,
I think that the environmentalists would kind of say the opposite way. Like we're burning these fuels at what cost? What are we really doing here just so that we can go out there and entertain? That might not be the best use of fossil fuels. So it's one of those things. I can kind of see it both sides, and I like I said, I don't know what the answer is. I I do like that they're trying something, and I think they've got a decent balance, or they have had up until this year. I think that we might see it going, like you said, a little too far in one direction, because when I go out and watch the race, I am still definitely, heart pounding, enjoying these hybrid cars going around the track. They are not that loud, they're not. You can sit there with no ear protection and be just fine at a Formula One race. It is the hybrid car. It's a V6 turbocharged engine, hybrid engine, and so it's not super loud. So it's kind of cool that you can go out. In fact, sitting there at the trackside, the Carrera Cup Series Porsches were way louder than the Formula One cars. So I mean that kind of tells you something about it right there.
Yeah.
There's
But
something different going on.
yeah, we're kind of getting sidetracked a little bit. So maybe going back to Aston Martin. So you said they only did 128
28.
laps. I think by comparison, we have to look at Mercedes, which did over 1,500 laps.
Yeah.
Right. So I think they had the most laps out of everybody. Um, so Aston Martin, Williams, and Cadillac down at the bottom. I don't think anybody was expecting too much from Cadillac. So obviously they're still, you know, in the learning phase, only being out 3 times on track. So uh, I think there's still plenty to be gained from that team. I really hope Williams is just sandbagging because if not, it'll be such a disappointment. They have been on an upward trajectory. Last year, James Vole said, "We're not really going to do anything for the car this year. We're going to focus everything on this year's car." And then they come up with an overweight car, a car that hasn't passed the crash safety inspection. Has I think it failed twice. I think it was what the number was. I What's gonna happen, man? If like all that talk was just for nothing. I think that's what the biggest blow is, right? Because they didn't work on the car last year. They focused everything for this year, and they show up with a super underperforming car that's overweight. Uh, it'll be a huge blow for Williams fans everywhere.
Yeah, I guess positively you could look at what they were able to achieve last year and maybe say, with Vols at the head, they'll figure it out. I think they will. They've got good drivers that are experienced, so it's just a matter of, I think, making some tweaks to the car. And of course, everybody can speculate about the sandbagging thing. It's so funny. I don't hear anything talked about sandbagging unless it's a flood or Formula One. But yeah, you never know. That this is one of the funny things to me about Formula One, the whole testing phase and trying to figure out if people are pulling gamesmanship there to hide what they've got or kind of protect themselves from the media or whatever they're doing. But this happens every year, and I'm never quite sure. I come out, I'm excited to watch the testing. I like to see the cars back out there. I like to maybe do a little of analysis, but you can't get much out of it. And I mean that happens in other sports too. You get preseason football, for
Yeah.
example. Can't tell who's really good or not from that. But yeah, I don't know, man. How do you tell if someone's sandbagging? Do you just
Well,
suspect it?
typically it's the top teams that end up running midfield, sort of how uh, Red Bull has is currently doing, right? I think they've been a big sandbagging team. Ferrari have done it, Mercedes have done it, McLaren have done it. And the thing is like we had this problem last year where we were looking at teams and we're going, oh, like this is going to be a huge shakeup. And then within the first 5 races, everything was in the order in which you would probably expect it to be running. So I would imagine we can expect sort of the same thing this year. Uh, Charles Leclerc set the fastest time in a Ferrari. Doesn't mean anything. It's really hard to say, right? Because Hamilton was all the way back down, like almost a second and a half behind him. Was Hamilton even really trying? Like it's so hard to tell. Also,
Right.
you're not in race conditions, right? There's not a lot of drafting going on. Wind condition, temperatures, like all that plays a huge part. And all this is just testing, trying different things and everything that you can. So I really don't know. I would imagine within the first 5 races, I think it'll start to shake up how you expect, right? Where Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, or Red Bull, they'll probably have a car each in the top 5 positions, I would imagine.
Yeah, that the analysis that I've read so far, most of the actual drivers out there and the journalists that I've read, they are saying that the top four are the top four. So, like you
Right.
just said, those Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren are still occupying sort of, or appear to be, the fast cars throughout the testing, three different testing sessions, really. The one in Barcelona plus the two in Bahrain. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe where we'll be, it'll just shake out that way. And then everything else after that, I have heard it's looked bad for Aston, right? And they finished up pretty poorly last year. But Alpine seems to have made a jump in what they've were able to accomplish. According to some of the stuff that I've read, it seems like Alpine looks faster than what they did last year, which was atrocious for them. Their last season was, they were the worst team in the field. And then, like you said earlier, Cadillac, it's hard to tell anything about them, but they didn't do a whole lot of laps, and they didn't do anything particularly fast in those laps. Uh, so yeah, not that'll be interesting, of course, to watch them. Another one to keep our eye on, of course, is Isaac Hadjar. He didn't do as much testing as I thought that he would do. I don't think he completed all that many laps, and of course, he is going into the Red Bull second seat to be Max Verstappen's teammate, which has been a position fraught with
Right.
bad luck or misfortune or neglect, whatever you want to call it. But they've had several people drive that second seat, and nobody's been able to produce a whole lot out of it. So I would have thought that they would have put him in there and just let him just rip on it so that he could get a feel for the car. But they didn't. He didn't do a whole lot of laps, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's some interesting stuff there with Red Bull. Uh,
Yeah,
and
for
McLaren,
the times they have such a huge gap, right? Because Aston Martin, they need to find effectively 4 seconds, 4.5 seconds to be up at the top. Cadillac need to find about 2.5 to 3 seconds to get back up to the top. And then basically everybody after 10th needs to find at least a second and a half to 2 seconds. It's the field is so heavily spread out. I don't think it was this spread out last year. So
yeah,
it's gonna be tough. I want good things from the home team Cadillac, right? And of course Williams to do well. But by the same token, I don't want to see Aston Martin 4 seconds behind the leaders every race, right?
yeah,
Like they're going to be the only teams getting lapped, maybe twice at
right.
this point, and nobody wants to see that. Everybody wants to see a good competitive race. So speaking of, we have Australia coming up in 2 weeks, March 7th, and you know what that means? It is time to bring back the bold predictions.
I'm excited.
I'm yeah, I'm actually gonna do a better job of keeping track of it this year. And we have both made two bold predictions going into Australia. Mine is that, and this is purely based on testing, that both Astons are going to end up retiring. But I'm going to predict that Williams has been sandbagging and playing mind games, and they're both going to finish in the points by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, you got one that is looking like it's not that bold. The Aston prediction, they already had issues with their car, so that one doesn't seem as bold. The two Williams scoring points, that's a little more of a bold. I like that one, but it's
Okay,
also a fanboy prediction.
that
So
is, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, I'd love to see them kind of pick up where they left off and get off on the right foot, and have them score points. So I'll be rooting for that one to come true. I will be sad if both Astons retire.
I
Um,
will
I'm
too.
I'm hoping for a good season for them. They tried to basically throw it all in on last season. They didn't do as much development. They hired Adrian Newey, uh, and I don't want to see his car do bad. Of course, I don't, the power unit isn't really Adrian Newey's thing. He's designed the car, but I don't know that it's really on Honda and and the Aston. I guess maybe I don't know if he has any input into the reliability of the of the engine, but yeah, I'm hoping that they pull something out. And I got a lot of faith that even if this year's not great for Aston, I think that as they learn about the new specs and everything, they're gonna get it going long term and be better. But yeah. So yeah, my bold predictions. I think Ferrari has looked fairly strong over the testing, and so I put a Ferrari on the podium.
That's a good
I
one. That's a good one.
I'm not gonna say which one. I really hope I'd love to see it be Lewis, but I'm pretty big fan of Leclerc as well. So I'm not gonna pick which driver, but one of those guys is gonna end up on the podium, and then my other bold prediction was that we're gonna see an Alpine score points in the first race. I feel that they've improved. Gasly looks strong out there, so it'll probably be Gasly. I'm not going to make that stipulation, but one of those Alpines is going to finish in the top 10.
I think you're right. I think it will be Leclerc that is going to finish up on the podium. He seems, even last year, he seemed to be the most at tune with his car. So he's obviously no slouch. He's a very good driver. Alpine, I think you're right, man. They they were running in the midfield during testing. They had some good times. I think they will eke out points. I might even go as so far as saying I think they might both get points if the testing times are true.
You're going to outbold me, man.
I know, man. I'm taking yours.
That's right.
No,
Well, that
it's
that
good.
that I'm excited, man. Season coming right on up on us, and yeah, I'm just very unsure with this new car. The cars are noticeably smaller. You can see them twitchy out there. They don't have the grip that they've had in the previous
Yeah,
few years. So I'm if it rains or anything, that's going to even throw another wrinkle in this. Last year, of course, famously rainy race to start the season in Melbourne. So
hmm
yeah, man, it could get interesting very quickly. I think to see with all these changes that they've made. Um, so
yeah.
yeah,
And the cars are noticeably slower.
they are slower
So,
and
uh,
they don't start as well, right? Like off the line seems to have been very slow for everybody. So
yeah, a lot of stalls, a lot of slow off the line. They probably haven't practiced it as much as they should have, or maybe whatever data they had wasn't accurate. So
yeah,
it's it'll be interesting. It looks like Ferrari's got it pretty much sorted at the moment.
yeah. Yeah, you'll
I don't
notice
know.
I didn't try to go for a bold prediction about my team, McLaren.
Yeah,
They haven't said a lot. They've acted calm and like they are pretty satisfied with the car. So and they've had some team. Like I think Oscar Piastri's one has uh, turned in some of the faster times in the testing. So yeah, I don't know, man. I feel this year more than any other previous year. Like I can't see what's going to happen in an actual Grand Prix length
yeah,
race with these new cars. It's been very seems like it's been very hard to figure out. So which is a good thing, I think. It's it's a good thing to have a little bit of mystery and unknown.
yeah. Well, 2 weeks out. That's all it is, and we are. I know I've been saying we're back, but next week or in 2 weeks, it makes it official. The first race will be underway, and we will go all the way through December, which is crazy to
I
say,
know.
man. It is so crazy to say. But yeah, man, looking forward to it. I think we got some good bold predictions. We're off to a good start. Fingers crossed for everybody we're rooting for, and see
I
you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I still kind of want to revisit that eating the local cuisine of wherever the Grand Prix is. So I don't know if you can find some Vegemite anywhere, but
I might just
we
go to
might
Outback Steakhouse.
no rules, just right.
Yeah.
All right. Good one.
Cool, cool, man. I'm gonna I'm going to say adios, and I will see you in 2 weeks.
Adios.